Okay, good afternoon, good morning, and good evening, wherever you are. My name is Mushida. I am the co-founder of Love and Respect Transforms Holdings here in Kuala Lumpur. We also have an office and business in Singapore as well. And what we do is we mentor and coach business owners, startups, professionals to do good through their business and create at least a 5 to 20K month strategy for them to achieve within 90 days. And we also help them with visibility and connections globally. And we have a One Help One model. Every mentorship also contributes to the mentorship of refugees and marginalized communities here in Kuala Lumpur as well. So welcome everybody, and welcome Pamela for this session where we really want to get to know you and get to know the business that you do, because we know you do an amazing work. So Pamela, can you please introduce and share a little bit about yourself and the company that you are running?
Okay, thank you, Mashida. And hi everyone. So my name is Pamela. I'm an author of Love Heals, How I Turn My Life Around. And currently I'm the founder of the VT Results Private Limited. So the mission and vision of VT Results is we would like to share with more people about holistic wellness. And right now I am also writing a book about consciousness. And yeah, we want people to understand what is holistic wellness and how they can help themselves heal themselves.
Wonderful. Pamela, can you also share a little bit about why you are doing this? Why consciousness, and why is this so important?
Okay, personally, it was a personal journey of mine. So I went through being homeless and jobless and penniless at one point in my life. And through my own healing journey, I started looking for alternative ways of how I could start healing myself. And that was the most amazing journey, because when I started with that healing journey for myself, I could feel so much more empowered and more powerful. And with that, I could actually go out and impact so many more lives. And I feel that it's so important, especially right now. Everyone out there with this COVID situation that's going on, they all need to understand that we need to kind of heal ourselves. And that is when we all become very powerful human beings. And we can all go out there and empower more people and impact on more people.
Absolutely, it's so important, and I think this is so timely, like you said, COVID, and people are going through challenges, and sometimes they don't find a way out, and they get stuck in that mental depression. Just wanted to understand better. Also, Pamela, can you also share like what do you help people with in terms of solving their problems? Who specifically, and what do you do for them?
Okay, so for me right now is one topic that's very, very close to my heart is about parenting, conscious parenting. Being a mother of 3 boys, I realized that a lot of parents are struggling, especially when it comes to how to be able to consciously parent their children and make their children love them for who they are. And a lot of times, nowadays the gadgets, computers and everything, it's so easily accessible. And the children all are kind of being trapped into spending a lot of time on computers, on telephones, on all that various technical gadgets. And I'm coming up with a program. It's called Addiction to Devices, to actually also help parents, because I realized that everyone has the devices and all the devices is taking up all the time, and there's less communication. There's love, there's less of that bonding and loving and doing things as a family. And that is causing a lot of miscommunication, or the family not being able to bond better in that area. And I feel that it's very important.
Yeah, absolutely. I think right now, even more so when, people are studying from home, the kids are more at home because they can't go out, right? Like before. And they are, sometimes their best friend is the gadget. And it's good in a way that people, they get to learn through the gadget. But at the same time, the other side is that they do not communicate personally, right, with their parents and with real people, people outside. So there's that etiquette. They don't know how to handle direct communication. So in your courses and in all your training and in your programs, what are the things that you teach, or how do they learn from you, and what is your format like for your programs?
Okay, there are quite a number of different areas that I actually deal with. One aspect would be on emotional healing, when people have a lot of emotions that are stuck and that prevents them from moving forward. The other aspect is I also do coaching with them to let them understand more about themselves and how they can just shift their own perspective or whatever limiting beliefs that's blocking them from moving forward. And I will also have different workshops and programs that can actually empower people, whether it's their mindset in terms of their emotional, I think to be able to be a very holistic person is all about that mind, body, and soul connection. That when we are able to kind of connect that mind, body, and soul, that all areas that is aligned, and that is when every human being can become such a powerful person. Yeah. And I feel that right now it's so much more needed with the whole world is shifting in terms of the globalization, and there are a lot of people who are kind of still resisting change, resisting what is new and what is coming up for them. And they will need that to kind of shift their internal self, so that they become more aware, they become more conscious of themselves, like knowing maybe they either have thinking too much of negative things, or they have a lot of negative emotions inside their body that is causing them to be stuck in where they are. And all this will not empower people to be able to move forward. And as adults and as parents, it is even so more important, because our children see us as who we are, as a model that they can model after. And when the children are not able to look up to their parents as role models, the children will be affected as they grow up.
Oh, I love that. I love that sharing. And do you have any examples or any case studies of maybe even an experience that you've had with a family that perhaps have worked with you on how they just shifted a couple of things or tips that you have given that has changed their relationship?
Well, I do have a good friend of mine. So she has only one son. So back then she had some issues because her husband wasn't in Singapore. He was actually working overseas, and she was so stressed out because she was the only person that has to manage the son, the family, and everything else. So I had a conversation with her to find out what was happening, and I did give her some tips as to how she could manage her son better, because her son was in a rebellious stage in the life, so she was a bit concerned that why is the son so rebellious, and she doesn't seem to be able to kind of talk to him and connect with him, at this moment, not like when he was much younger. So, I did tell her that she should just let go and not be controlling him too much, because as they are growing up, they need some space for their own way of thinking and growing, so that they can become who they want to be. So I guess a lot of parents have this issue of being control freaks, that they want to control every single thing of their children. And I don't think it's this is something that we all should do as parents. So as parents, I think our role is just to facilitate our kids, our children, helping them to evolve to be a better human being, but at the same time allowing them to experience and grow and learn whatever that is necessary for them, so that they can be that better person, rather than just controlling them and not allowing them that space for them to learn and grow. Yeah.
So important, communication. Okay, I just want to ask you this, right? Because I know there are some people who are like, oh, how do I talk to my teenager? They don't want to talk to me. Is there a tip that you can give? Maybe just one tip. I know there's a lot of tips, and you go through the process, with parents and children. But is there just one tip that they can immediately apply first, so that they can at least break a ice or certain like pattern that's been going on in the family?
Okay, I think the most important thing that parents need to do is to listen. I think a lot of times, parents always feel that they're in the authority space. They feel that, I'm the authority, and why should I listen to my kids or my children, right? One thing is, by having a communication, I also have communications with my boys, and I realized that sometimes just by communicating and asking them how they feel about a certain problem, it's by listening I actually understand them more. And when I'm being able to open myself to know how they feel, it actually enables me to able to love and understand them better.
How appropriate, he came in just to show himself. That's so cute. Yes, and this very important tip. It's like sometimes we see our child, no matter what age they are, they're always a baby. So
Yeah.
we're gonna take care. Yeah, like what your son, your boy is there. He, even when he's 20 years old, the parents will think them as that age. So it's always like they'll always be our babies, right? So
Yeah.
these babies grow up, and they need to be, they're a totally different person from us. They're not like us, although we share the values that we believe in and know it's good, but they have their own minds, and they're their own person. So the one very important tip, like you mentioned, is listening and understanding them. How long are your programs, and yeah, what's the process like do they have to attend weekly coaching from you, and what is it like?
Okay. It depends on the individuals. I do have some workshops, and I also have coaching programs. So for people who needs long-term coaching programs, I do have weekly coaching programs. And that, for me, I believe that if a person needs to change, they need at least 3 months or 6 months for them to shift in terms of their mindset and in terms of their emotions. And yeah, there are some other programs that they could come in and join me, where I will teach maybe a 3-hour program, 2 or 3-hour program on various topics on parenting. And yeah, so if they would like to find out more, they can connect with me on Facebook. Yeah.
Wonderful. I agree with that. It is consistent change, So 3 months, 6 months is actually a very good time for them to start instilling some habits and behavior. And you will take them on that process, right, Pamela?
Yes.
Wonderful. Okay. One last question about your work. You put in the background there conscious parenting. Can you explain to the viewers and also the potential clients that may want to join work with you? What do you mean by the term conscious and consciousness? And I know you're writing a book, right? Is that what? Oh no, am I allowed to announce that? You're writing, you're writing a book, and it's not your first book. You've already written a book before, which is very, very powerful. But what is this meaning of conscious and consciousness and conscious parenting? What is that?
Yeah. So I think that's a very good question. I think consciousness is about awareness. It's about awakening and being aware. A lot of times, a lot of us lead a very, very busy life. We could be just rushing, doing things for the sake of doing things, but when we take time to actually pause and reflect on the things that we are doing, we become aware. So being conscious is to be aware of what is happening around us, including our family, ourselves, our environment, our work. Yeah. So I think being conscious is so important because I see so many people nowadays that are unconscious, I would say. They are so busy just doing things for the sake of doing things. They are chasing after, could be a car that it may not be something that they want, a house that maybe they think that this is what they want, or they may be chasing for bigger and bigger things. But when they really get all these things, they find that there's no more meaning to all these things that they're chasing after all anymore. So to be cautious is really to be aware of ourselves, aware of what is something that drives us, what we are passionate about. What is something that we are all meant to be here on earth to do. Every one of us have a different journey. We are all here on a different purpose and a mission. And when we are able to be connected with that, our own mind, body, and soul connection, we all know what is our purpose and why we are here. We are a lot more powerful. We are able to go out there and do what we are meant to do, and we are all unique and different. And that's where we can shine so brightly when we are being conscious.
Yeah, exactly. Consciousness is that awakening, right? To have that like, this is what life is all about, rather than go through life day in, day out, busy, 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 and then what am I doing? Why am I doing here? Like why my family is like this, the way, it's just people who constantly complain all the time. They're living in an unconscious world because they don't know what they're meant to serve. So what you're doing is very, very important work, getting people to be conscious and being aware and having clarity about it as well. Do you have any immediate programs or any projects that people can be a part of immediately? Because if people are very excited about something like this,
Yeah. I mean, I'm already currently doing some coaching sessions with people, and my workshops are coming up soon. So for those people who really needs some kind of coaching, they can connect with me so that I can, help them with whatever that there are issues they are having at this moment.
And share with us again, what is the name of your Facebook page and your group as well that people can join in?
Okay, I do have several Facebook pages as well. Okay, if you search my name, you will be able to find some of my pages. And the other one is on the addiction to devices. That is where I'm coming out with the workshops for parents. And yeah, so if you were to search my name, Pamela PS Lim, you'll be able to find me on the social media.
Okay, so Facebook, Pamela PS Lim, I'll put the link there. And then you also have several groups, is that
Yes.
right? Yeah, okay. And also the public page, Pamela's public page as well, that you can follow and get to know any get the announcement on what are the upcoming programs that Pamela has. Fantastic. Okay, I got one question before we go also. I got so many questions. It's very interesting. So you wrote a book before, your first book, and now it's all about consciousness, that you want to bring people towards awareness. What is the time from what your first book was intended to do, and your readers that are reading your first book that's going to read your second book? What is that transition about, that message that you want to relay to the people reading your books?
Okay, so my first book was really about my own personal journey of how I went from being homeless, jobless, and penniless to eventually having my own family, having to write my book, and to eventually become. I was a speaker, I was an entrepreneur, I was sharing about my own journey. So the first book was it was something that a lot of people was inspired, because it was giving them hope, and they felt that having, for me, what I've gone through, having gone through so much in my life, and coming out with so much stronger, so much more resilient, that it gave people all the hope. And the theme was having a light at the end of the tunnel for my first book. Was all about. So moving on to my second book, which is about consciousness, I think with what's happening in this COVID situation, there's many people that are suffering and going through different shifts and changes in their lives. And this second book about consciousness is to enable people to understand what is happening in the world and how we can shift ourselves so that we can have a better future moving forward. Yeah, so it's a bit different, but conscious parenting will be one of the topics inside that I will be talking about. Yeah.
So powerful. And you know why I asked Pamela to share about this? Because when she shared with me that, oh, I'm writing a second book, she was sharing from a space of like so much awareness. You're like, I've gone through, it's like I can feel it, that this is what my message is supposed to be, the awareness, the consciousness. And that's why you want to bring this out, so that people will be able to understand where the world is going and how you can actually be part of it instead of going against it and living back in the 2019, where we were always talking about competition, being competitive and all of those things. And the world has shifted, and the world is shifting. And I thank you, Pamela, for being a part of this journey with me as well, to grow this consciousness. And I so believe people really need to know you and your work. So I will post Pamela's Facebook links on the comments page, also in the YouTube that we're going to upload. And also for those people in the exhibitions, we'll be sending also her contact and her page for you to follow, and also possibly buy her current book and wait for her upcoming book that Pamela is going to have, right? So I'm looking forward to that as well. But can people get your books from Amazon, or how do people from outside of Singapore get your books?
Oh yeah, they're already on Amazon.
Oh, awesome.
So for those who are international audience, they can actually get it from Amazon.
Oh, all right. Great, great, great. Yeah, we'll post the links to that as well. If you are interested, you can also buy the book written by Pamela. And we're so grateful to have you, Pamela, in our community. And also with this message, who people, business owners who are driving the force of good and creating an impact around the world. So thank you, thank you, thank you, Pamela. And with that, thank you everybody for watching, and do get in touch with us again if you want to get connected with Pamela and also the other amazing business owners in our community.
Yeah.
Okay,
Thank you so
bye-bye.
much, Mishida.
You're welcome. Bye.